friends, Matt here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at some of the recent Amiibo I've managed to pick up. Now, I've done toy reviews of Amiibo on my other channel, Adamant Ditto, before, so if you haven't checked that out, please do that. I'll include an annotation right here for you to see. It was my first toy review and I quite liked it. Anyway, let's not waste any time, let's get to it. She's backwards.
Don't know what Amiibo are? Then why are you watching this? Just kidding. In brief, they're Nintendo's answer to Skylanders or Disney Infinity. Interactive figures that are compatible with multiple Nintendo games, unlocking various things from costumes to playable characters. They've become a huge hit amongst collectors, and because Nintendo doesn't seem to understand that people actually want them, are a huge mess to actually get a hold of. But I've already gone this far down the rabbit hole, so I'm in it for the long haul. Of the recently released Amiibo, I have all but Lucina and Greninja, so I'm going to be taking a look at the 6 I do have. I'll also be looking at the recent Japanese re-release of the Villager Amiibo, because I just got him too. As with last time, let's take a look at the packaging first. I won't spend too much time on this, but I do love the packaging for these things. It's slick, it's bright, it stands out, it looks great. The back tells you about the Smash Bros. Compatibility, but not much else. They also include a funny picture, normally of somebody getting their ass kicked by the character you just bought. The Japanese packaging is a little different, with multiple pictures of the Amiibo on the back. Otherwise, it says the same thing. Something interesting to note is that the European Amiibo come with an instruction booklet. The Japanese version also has a small piece of paper with instructions on it. They don't say much, but it's worth noting because the American versions don't include either of those things. Anyway, the figures. Let's start with the Villager, since he's an older figure. I think he looks pretty good. By the very nature of Animal Crossing, he's very simple. Not a lot of details, but he doesn't need it. He's got his cute little round hands with his whittle thumbs. A few wrinkles and seams on his clothing add a bit of detail. You can even see a bit of his back pockets, which I assume is where he keeps all those sea bass and bowling balls. His face looks mostly good. Since this is a re-release, they actually changed the size of his eyes, making them smaller but more true to how the render in the game looks. The problem is, they didn't bring his hairline down with the smaller eyes, so he looks like he has a much bigger forehead than he should. It's not a huge problem, I still think he looks good, but it is a noticeable problem. Next, we have Ness and Pac-Man. These are two I was looking forward to from the start. Pac-Man because I love playing as him in Smash, and Ness because I've always wanted a Ness figure, but they're few and far between. Both of them look great. Ness is appropriately cartoony with his big head, bright colors, and cute little smile. He has some nice detailing on his shorts, with the wrinkles and the stitching. He even has his backpack, which is a great touch. My only problem with Ness isn't really a problem. By design, Ness has these big black eyes, which make the figure's face look a little soulless. I know that's how he looks in the game, so it's not a huge deal. They are still staying true to the source material, but it does look a bit odd, even compared to other Amiibo with pupils. Pac-Man is another favorite. His design is one of the simplest in the whole game, so it makes sense that his Amiibo would be simple and sweet looking. He's got a great iconic pose with the thumbs up and the winky eye, and his mouth isn't just painted on, which a lesser company would have easily done. The only negative I have to say about this figure is the big seam right down the middle of him, which clearly connects the front to the back. It's not noticeable when viewed from the front, so most people will likely never see it on your shelf, but it's kind of ugly. But honestly, the best part about both of these figures is that their feet are planted firmly on the ground and they have no plastic supports anywhere to be seen. Always a plus. Next we have two of the three Pokemon from Wave 4, Charizard and Jigglypuff. I love how bright Charizard is. Orange is my favorite color, and they really nail the vibrant and cartoony style of Smash 4. The translucent flame on his tail is also a great touch. His wings have the appropriate detail, showing where I assume bone would be, and his eyebrow area on his face give him a great angry look. However, more than almost any other Amiibo I have, you can see a lot of seams on Charizard, around his limbs, his tail, and on his back where his wings connect, and worst of all, where his top jaw attaches to the bottom jaw. I think if it wasn't for that seam alone, I would put this figure above most of the others. As of right now, he's good, but could be better. As for Jigglypuff, I don't have a whole lot to say because she's a ball. She's round, she's adorable, she's a ball. I love her little smile and her stubby little arms. I don't love the seam that goes all around her bottom side, showing where that section and her feet connect to the stand. It looks really bad from behind. It's less noticeable up front, which is good, but it's one of the worst seams on any of the figures. Overall, both Charizard and Jigglypuff look good, but are hindered by some all too noticeable seams. A necessity, but an eyesore regardless.
Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff, Jigglypuff.
Finally, we have Wario and Robin. These two are the most detailed of any of the ones I have from this wave, and they look great. Robin's cloak is brimming with details, from the buckles and buttons to the markings and patterns on his hood, back, and cuffs. It really is a great looking piece. There does seem to be a bit of paint smudging in the smaller detailed areas just because of how much detail they're trying to fit into a small space, but it still manages to look good. His face and hair is also among the best of any of the human characters. But the most impressive detail is on his tome, which actually has a picture and text on it. Of course, it's not legible, but they didn't have to include that. It's not like you can see it looking straight on, but they went the extra mile, and I loved that. Wario might very well be my favorite amiibo to date. He is so full of detail and just looks so good. First of all, because his face is so large, it allows for everything that makes Wario Wario to show. From his giant toothy grin to his bright pink nose, his face looks great. And then there's the clothing detail. The stitching and the seams on his jeans and his jean jacket look great, and really add some depth to the figure. His arms look great too, from the muscle detail on his undershirt to his fingernails showing on his hands. But by far my favorite detail is the giant "Hurry up!" patch on the back of his jacket. It's like that in the game, and it looks great. He even has some of the more minor usage of the plastic stands. I mean, it does look like he has flubber on his shoes or something that he's trying to get off, but it's not as distracting as some of the other figures. On the whole, Wario is a great amiibo, the best of the line for me, and maybe the best period.
Time to tip the scales. Oh.
Overall, Wave 4 is a great wave, with a lot of great characters and details. I think the amiibo get better with every release, and this is no exception. It's a shame they're such a pain to find because all of these figures are worth owning, especially if you're a fan of any of the characters. Of what I have, I would say, again, Wario is my favorite, followed by Ness and Pac-Man, with either Charizard or Jigglypuff being my least favorite. Not because they're bad, they're both great, but they're just not as great. If you're a fan of Amiibo, you've probably already made the long overnighter to get these guys, so I guess I don't need to recommend them. But if you were on the fence and don't mind possibly having to import, I say pick up the ones you like and display them with pride. Thank you so much for watching. Now, if you want to be informed when I put up more videos like this, or any videos really, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you want to watch an older Amiibo review I did, you can go ahead and click that little video there to be taken to my other channel and watch my very first Amiibo review. Thank you for watching, and catch you on the flip side.